Hi, welcome to Beginning Trumpet Lesson 1. First thing you need to know is how to put your mouthpiece properly into your trumpet. The mouthpiece looks like this. When you insert it in, you can twist it a little bit just so it holds. Now, a couple of rules for trumpet. You are not ever to be doing this kind of thing because it will get stuck and you will need a machine to get it out. In some places charge you up to $25 to get it removed. So make sure you gently twist it in so it stays in. You notice the trumpet only has 3 buttons, okay? And I know it can be very tempting to take this thing apart, but don't ever take anything apart. If something happens, you can always bring it to Mr. Ocaño and he'll try to figure out what's going on. Because if you take these apart and you put them back in, you may not put them in the correct order and you won't be able to produce a sound. Also, there are springs in here that can pop out and get lost. But this is your trumpet. How do you make a sound on the trumpet? Well, let's try holding our mouthpiece. The first thing you need to remember is you're going to make a buzzing sound from your lips. So you need to tighten your lips. I say smile, kind of like a half smile. And you place your mouthpiece up to your lips and you do a buzz. I would suggest that you practice that over and over for the first few minutes of your practice time. If you get this kind of sound, you're not buzzing your lips. The best way to practice buzzing is to pretend you are a siren. Going up and down, because you'll need to be able to do that in order to play the higher notes on the trumpet. Also, a very important thing to remember is you're not puffing your cheeks out. You're not doing this. I know there are famous trumpet players that have done that, but that's kind of their thing, but it's really not the proper way to play your trumpet. So we're going to start by putting our mouthpiece in, twisting it gently into the trumpet. Your right hand is what holds, pushes the buttons down. Pinky goes here, thumb goes right here. So you see it here. And your 3 buttons are here. When you're playing, you do not play with your fingers flat. You need to use your fingertips. Your left hand, you see a hold here. You can adjust that with this. Your ring finger goes there, 2 fingers there, and your thumb. That's the hold. And your pinky can stay out like this or down here. Whatever feels most comfortable. I like to play it like that. Put this here, thumb here, 3 fingers here. The first note you're going to learn on song number 1 is the note E. E is the first line of the treble clef from the bottom, the top. E is played 1 and 2. And just so you know, the valves are numbered 1, 2, and 3. So if I say 1 and 2, it's this. If I say 1, it's this. If I say 1 and 3, it's this. 2 and 3, and so on. Open means you don't push anything down. So our first note is the note E, which is 1 and 2. Remember, when you're playing trumpet, you do not play towards the ground. You hold your trumpet up, and here is E. Now, I know when you're first learning, you may not get that sound. You may sound something like this. And that's pretty normal because you're just learning how to play. If your note is low, like this, that is not E. You need to tighten your lips more. You do that by pushing the end of your smile out to create a smaller hole. The smaller hole you create in your mouth, the higher the note you're going to play. So here's E again. You notice I'm not puffing out my cheeks and I'm playing one sound continuously, right? You don't have to pass out. You don't have to play. Okay, there's no need for that. Just relax. Relax your jaw. Relax your head. Relax all your muscles and just play. Remember, you can pause this video at any time to practice that. So if you look at song number 1, you're going to play, you have a whole note, E, which means you play it for 4 beats. Then you have a whole rest, which means you have 4 beats of silence. Let's look at number 1. We're going to play number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2, 3, 4. Rest, 2, 3, 4. Now, for educational purposes, I'm removing my mouth from the mouthpiece, but when you're playing music, you don't do that. Neither do you also blow every single time you play a note. For example, you don't play... If you're playing 4 quarter notes of E, they should sound like this. It's like you're saying 2 in your head where your tongue is touching the back of your teeth. Again. All right, practice that a few times and you'll get the hang of it. Look at song number 2. Our second note is F. F is just valve 1. Remember, E is 1 and 2. F is 1. This is what F should sound like. Let's see here if you notice a difference between the two notes. Here's E, F, it's kind of a fun warm-up to do. If you look at number 2, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to play F for 4, rest for 4, F for 4, rest for 4, F for 4, and finally rest for 4. On song number 3, you're going to alternate the two notes. Remember, F is the first space on the treble clef from bottom to top. So let's look at number 3. We're going to play E for 4, rest, then F for 4, rest, and you're going to play F again for 4, then rest for 4, and then E for 4, and finally rest for 4. We're going to play that together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, ready, F. 1, 2, F again. 1, 2, ready, E. 1, 2, 3, 4. Finally, your third note that you're learning is the note G, which is the second line from the bottom on the treble clef. G is played open. You don't press anything. Now, there's different notes that are played with the same fingering. So you have to make sure you're playing the correct note with that fingering. For example, this is what G should sound like. I'm not pressing anything down. But many times when we're first learning, we end up playing lower notes. That is not G. If you're playing that note, remember, tighten your lips, make the hole smaller so that you can produce a higher sound. So that second note that I'm playing is the G. And you're going to see on number 4 and 5 that you're learning your new notes. You're going to have G and then rest for 4, then G, just like you did in the other exercises. And then you're going to do all 3 notes together. But for learning purposes, I'm going to play them all 3 here so you know what they sound like and what they look like. I'm going to turn this way so you can see my fingers. I'm going to start with E, F, G, F, E. Listen, and I'll do whole notes. 1, a whole note gets 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want you to try that several times. Practice, practice, practice. Again, do a lot of practicing with just your mouthpiece. That is the sound it should make in order to ensure that you're making the correct sound when you're playing your trumpet. Again, do not take any of these off. You don't ever need to really clean this or wash it. You do have a spit valve here. When you play a lot, it creates condensation and your spit needs to come out. It's totally normal. You don't have to gross out, but it usually just goes onto the floor or the carpet and it dries up pretty quickly. So you begin to hear like a gargling inside your trumpet when you know it's time to do that. All right, I look forward to seeing you in class. Looking forward to hearing you play your first 3 notes.